Shelley Moore Capito, the West Virginia senator. She was elected chair of the Senate GOP Policy Committee. She's going to be very busy. Congratulations, Senator. Very good to have you.
Thank you, Neil. Great to be on.
How would you weigh this latest pick, Matt Gaetz, Attorney General?
Well, I actually think Aisha made a great statement at the end when she said the president was elected to shake it up, to change things, to dramatically change things in Washington. And I see that some of his picks sort of amplify that. The president has the prerogative to nominate who he wishes. We will consider this in the Senate, and certainly will be in the Judiciary Committee. I don't happen to serve on that committee, but when everything's said and done, we'll see how his nominee's done, and I would put Mr. Gaetz' nominee in the same category. All
right. Obviously, the Senate is yea or nay on these appointments. Now, would this be the type that the president has wanted, the incoming president has wanted, for these to be maybe recess appointments? Make them automatically approved. Do you think that should extend then to Mr. Gaetz?
Well, what I think we need to do is do our work in the Senate. I think our new leader, John Thune, expressed his belief that this is the direction that we need to go. We need to go aggressively, and that means as many nominations as we can go through. Hopefully our Democrat friends will join us so that we can move. I'm not saying they have to vote for them, but not be a stumbling block, so that we can move as many of the president's nominations forward as possible, as quickly as possible. And so that then, if we run into stumbling blocks, then the recess appointment issue may come before us. But at this point, I think we're all hoping we can do this in regular order, spend the time and the deliberation that it requires, and give the president his team that he needs.
All right, and you might be right. I don't want to belabor the Gaetz. Obviously, the president is free to pick whomever he wants, but he obviously would have anticipated the type of reaction this might get. The battles Gaetz has had with the House Ethics Committee back and forth. That again isn't a Senate matter, but do you think that he invited controversy here?
Well, I think what we have to look at is the experience that President-elect Trump has had with the Department of Justice. He has been prosecuted over and over again on some very flimsy terms, and just sort of reworking the wheels of justice to be tilted away from him. And I think that's what he's reflecting in a pick that is sort of raising eyebrows across the nation in some ways. Right. But I think he still has to go through the process. He still has to be vetted by the Judiciary Committee. And I think that's going to be the biggest indication as to whether he meets the standards of an Attorney General. And I think we will move forward on that. But I'm not surprised that the president picked somebody that's going to shake it up, particularly at the Department of Justice.
Well, Democrats have a slightly different view. I don't want to belabor this, because I did want to ask you a couple of questions about how the voting went today. And of course, you were a big winner there. But this idea that Gaetz brings with him some baggage, that he would be chosen, not so much that he'd be a great Attorney General, but that he would do Donald Trump's bidding. Do you think that's a fair criticism?
I don't think it's fair to weaponize the Department of Justice. And I think we've seen that over this last several years. So I would hope going forward, because President Trump has been a victim of that, in my opinion, that I would think that his picks and his direction is to have the Department of Justice return to its roots of fair and judicial prosecutions and fairness in the law.
Okay. I do want to go back to how the leadership meeting went, Senator. I know right now we had Senator Rick Scott, we were told, a personal favorite, at least in the Trump world. I don't know about Donald Trump himself, going against John Thune and John Cornyn. John Cornyn, of course, of Texas. He was out after the first round of voting. I guess when it all was said and done, John Thune was the pick. But was there any bitterness? How did everyone end that meeting when that was all decided?
Well, actually, I think you might be surprised to know that there was a very, very adult, very reasoned, very policy-oriented, relationship-oriented discussion in the group with the 53 of us. We realize we have a chance that we cannot squander here, that the American people have given us by electing us and President Trump and the House. And so it does us no good as a conference to come out of a meeting like that where people had different and strong opinions, tearing down one another. And so I think you see a very united front. Senator Cornyn asked that the vote become by acclamation, so unanimous for Senator Thune. I think a very magnanimous gesture on his part. And so we're all on the same page. We had lunch shortly thereafter. I didn't notice anybody picking up their plate to not sit by anybody else. So far, so good.
All right. Real quickly, I mean, obviously Donald Trump wants to make sure all his picks get through, and that maybe even by the time he's inaugurated on January 20th, his cabinet is in full place. Do you think it will be?
I don't think his entire cabinet will be in full place. First of all, there's a lot of paperwork and everything involved with these nominations. So let's just assume that all gets done by the time we get sworn in on January the 3rd for the next term. We will then begin through my committee and others. So I will do the EPA nomination of Lee Zeldin, who I very much support, through my committee. So let's just say we move some of these through our committees quickly so that when we get to the inauguration of President Trump on January the 20th, we have people teed up and we're ready to vote. So I do think we will see a large amount move through very quickly in the beginning. Some of these, and it's by the nature of the office that they're going to be taking. Obviously, Department of State, Department of Defense, AG, these are very strong and important offices. They're all important, but some of them weigh a little heavier, I think, in terms of advising the president. So I would imagine some of them will still have longer periods of time. I couldn't predict which ones, but we'll have a large amount on January 20th.
Yeah, it seems like you're making a good pace at that. So watch it closely. Senator, and congratulations to you as well. Senator Capito of the beautiful state of West Virginia. All right.